this box just came from Amazon. It should have my girls' volleyball knee pads, which they used in the Ghostbusters films to make their elbow pads. So I figured we'll do a quick unboxing of the video, show you guys what's up. Now, all the forums and websites online say that you can't really dye these, you have to paint them with primer, which you can actually see on the screen used versions that they are, in fact, painted with primer. So, that's what they come in. Sports Protective girls knee pads in size L, because I'm a large guy. There you have it. Alright, I am my own photographer today, so what I've done is I've placed a plastic drinking cup with a paper bag over it on top of a psyllium husk container so that I could spray paint this thing. And I'm going to do the first one, and I'm also going to do it on a Lazy Susan so I get a nice even coating. And when they're both dried, I'm going to give it an entire day. And when that's done, I'm going to mask off the square around here so that the square is exposed and the rest is covered, and do that in black like in the movie. And I'm also probably going to break out my Iwata airbrush and airbrush in black into these lines here, and maybe go around the elbow pad just to give it a little bit more character. I mean, I do like the idea of the screen accurate with just the gray and the black square, but I think that'll give it a little more pop and a little more production value. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. Let's go paint these things. Okay, so now on to gloves. I'm told that the gloves in the Ghostbusters movies were approximately 12 inches long and they're black chemical gloves. Now, the ones in the movies are a little more ruggedized and stiff than the ones that I have here, but they are black chemical gloves, and the only problem being is that they are longer than 12 inches. So we're going to chop these down on the table, get them lined up, get them measured properly, get them cut, and then that's it. That's a wrap. They'll bend and fold and hang the way I want them to, and they'll look really good, and they've got a little bit of wiggle to them, which adds production value to it. So let's go take care of that. Alright, so we're shooting this part guerrilla style. As you can see, I've got it laid out on my cutting mat, which has a lovely scale running in either direction, which makes this type of work amazingly easy. 12 inches over, and what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to lay this out 12.5 inches. And you're going to see why in a minute. Basically, I'm going to complicate this where it doesn't need to be complicated, but that's what Famine Cosplay does. So find the halfway mark on the 12, split the difference on the top block, that's there, and then I'm just going to take this black Sharpie and make a line right there across. So give me 2 seconds to do that, guys. Okay, so I made the cut just a pair of sharp-ish scissors that need to be Scotch-Brite clean. And what I'm thinking I'm going to do is I'm going to use contact cement to make a ring around the inside. I'm going to use a scale to measure out a 1/2 inch here, contact cement the 1/2 inch, and then just fold them in on themselves so that they have a nice professional looking seam going around there, just as a little bit of extra effort on something that doesn't need to be complicated, because that's what I do. So here I've got two now 12.5 inch gloves, and we're going to try and figure out how we're going to accomplish adding that nice little production value seam there. I might actually use hot glue. I think I will use high temperature hot glue, give that a try, see if that doesn't work. If it doesn't, I can always peel it off and try something else. Alright, so I'm deciding on the fly that I'm actually going to do the fold to the outside. I think it adds a little more character, and that's the way that I want to do it. So let's get that done with some contact cement, and we'll go from there. So I've got Weldwood Dapco contact cement. This is my preferred contact cement, being as I don't want to pay for barge to be shipped from Amazon, because for whatever reason in New York they don't carry barge. these acid brushes, I get them for like $2 at Harbor Freight for a bag of 50 of them. They are worth their weight in gold. They're disposable. I highly recommend them. If family is like, hey, and you're a cosplayer and they're like, hey, what do you want for Christmas that might help your cosplay? Get consumables. Get things like paint brushes and acid brushes that you know you're going to throw away and use, because they're valuable to us. So people may be, no, well, you know, what can I get you? Stuff like this is key. So we're going to crack this bad boy open right here using the old tried and true paint can opener. Alright, so cracked it open. I'm going to move the secondary glove out of the way, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to eyeball it, and I'm going to go around this edge here. Just the width of the brush, that's all. And I will be doing 2 coats, so I'm going to do 1/2 as this dries, just like that. Nice thin even coat. I'm going to get in here, moving this one out of the way. Do this one as well. Just take a little bit on the brush. Go like this. That's all. Flip that bad boy over. Finish the stroke. And now I'm going to let this dry. See, it's already starting to pull, which is expected. But I'm going to let it pull and let it dry. Glaze off till it's almost glazed off completely. And then I'm going to take another coat and go over it one more time. You can cheat this with a heat gun. I can't do that right now because my heat gun is on loan. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to blow on it and let it off gas. I mean, you can actually take a look at this one and see it's already starting to off gas and deglaze. So once that gets a little more matte, I'll give it one more pass with the contact cement, let it dry, flip it over, do it on this side, and then, yeah. Now, because I am a dope, this actually needs to be twice as wide, because this end is going to fold over onto this, so that's all we gotta do. We just gotta go back in here, spread a little more, create a seam line. It's gonna look good. I promise it is. If not, we will have 11.5-inch Ghostbuster gloves. So this one here. Just pull it on down the line. And if you get any runs, like starts to get heavy going that way, I just pull it back towards the direction that I want it. There we go. And you can see both pieces, they're just about the same distance using this as a measure, this wipe. So there we have it. We are glued. That turned out about 90% of the way of what I wanted. I got a couple of spots where just it bunched up on itself, and if you guys know contact cement, let me see if I can get it to brighten up. There we go. You guys know contact cement, that's the nature of the beast. It'll pull on itself as soon as it touches. But once that's tucked in the belt, looped over, you're not going to be able to tell. A little bit of weathering dust on there, and it'll be good as rain. Like I said, I'm not going to do too much as far as the detail goes. So those gloves are done. Now I'm going to do the other knee pad. Alright, so we are wrapped up on these. The primer is dry, and I went ahead and fired up my Iowata airbrush, which is now packed back in the corner there after I cleaned it, and airbrushed black into the creases and around the areas where dirt and grime would collect. I'll probably go in and dry brush a little bit of brown in there, and I hit where the threads are, and then I did the classic black squares on the inside of the elbows on both of them. And I'm going to take a little bit of Scotch-Brite and just rid that line there. I had thin tape and I didn't tape anything around. I just kind of tried to nail it with the airbrush, but it'll wear out. You won't be able to see it. I'm super happy with how these came out. Pack's still over there. The PKE meter is next. Watching Bill and Brittany Duran's video on doing theirs inspired me to go ahead and tackle mine. And yeah, that's what's up. Hope you guys are well. Too sweet.